Anu, it's so great to have you as part of our program this year. You've done so many wonderful things in the state of Indiana that it's just so exciting to have you as part of this event and to really learn from you. Now, you founded the Government Women in Technology Group in Indiana in 2020. And I know that that group started as a small group and now has become quite a large group. What inspired you to create this first of a kind state initiative?
Well, Terry, first of all, thank you so much for having me. This is a pleasure. I'm really excited to talk and feel honored to be part of your event. What inspired? Well, there's so few of us in this field, as you know, Terry. So I wanted us to have a safe space where we could find our tribe, a place that gives us identity, a community, kind of a common purpose to help each other be successful in the field. I wanted to have a platform where we can get inspired by each other's successes and also learn from each other's mistakes. Wanted to have a thriving environment of women where we empower other women, where other women feel enabled, empowered, elevated. And last but not the least, I'm a big fan of Seth Godin. He said, transform your business. So his book is Purple Cow, Transform Your Business by Being Remarkable. So Seth says that the key to success is to find a way to stand out, to be the purple cow in a field of monochrome Holstein cows. So I thought this would be a great way for us to stand out by creating our own platform.
I've heard you speak about the purple cow before, and I think that is such a great kind of a way for all of us to think about it, because I think sometimes we're a little bit afraid of actually getting out there and making our voice heard. And I think that's something that all of us women really need to focus on. Now, over these past 2 years, if you've grown this group, what have you learned from them about the power of mentorship and networking?
Networking has gone great. I realized early on, Terry, that government employees have very limited representation at the industry events. When I was not in government, I used to attend them and never see anyone from government there. So I wanted to bring the networking to the women right here at the state. I know that we've brought in several high-profile local speakers, a few national speakers like yourself, even one international speaker. So we've created forums for so many meaningful conversations at GWIT, which is Government Women in Technology. We call it GWIT. Our conversations have been around microaggressions, how to deal with imposter syndrome, the different paths to STEM that we have taken, around tokenism, male allies, and so many other topics. And these topics and the speakers have created opportunities for professional networking, because just as we've had external speakers, we've had our own women employees serve on panels and talk about their own experiences, the work-life balance during COVID, how people just went home one day and started navigating a completely new, different world. So all of this has been so much opportunity, created so many opportunities to learn from each other. So networking has been awesome. My other members of the board of directors, we've become friends. We've worked so closely. It's also a very positive forum. That's how networking works. If it's only a place where you talk about problems and nothing else, then it doesn't sustain. I think our GWIT it's been 2 years now that we have had this forum. I think it's sustained and become and grown because there's always a positivity around it.
I love that. Anu, I think you're absolutely right. I think sometimes when a group comes together, there is a tendency maybe to look at the glass half empty as opposed to the glass half full. But this group has grown enormously. So what are some of the things that have surprised you about the group? Maybe some of the topics or just the sheer size of the organization now?
A few things have been surprising. One is there are a lot of women who are still sort of who like to remain in the background. They're not in the habit of turning their cameras or taking active roles. They'll show up at every meeting and they will just keep their cameras off and be more passive participants. So I thought we would see more active. We have seen a few. Oh my gosh, there have been breakthrough in active participation. I can think of this very young engineer who used to, kind of be in the background, didn't speak up, very shy in her own words. She was very shy. And now I see her leading a committee and called STEM Empowerment. She's working with, high school students and advising on STEM, giving presentations in her work life that has changed. She's puts on makeup, does her hair, sits light right in front of the camera, so much more confident. So I feel like we've seen some breakthroughs, but not as much as I want to see many more of those, and I'm not seeing that many. So clearly we have some work left. I also presented to NASIO, and Meredith Award has then, she's very sweet about giving us credit for inspiring her to start a group at the NASIO level. But I haven't heard of GWIT programs getting started in other states, which I would really like to see. And last but not the least is I've not seen a lot of reception of women being receptive about formal mentoring programs. I mean, we started a few different things, and it's part of that. You think of it, you conceptualize it in going in one direction, and you have some ideas. Not everything becomes successful. The formal mentoring program didn't take on as well as I had thought it would.
Interesting, very interesting. Maybe folks are more interested in something that's a little more informal.
Yes.
That's very different than what we would have expected. Well, I have a question for you that gets to the heart of how you have become the leader that you have become. So can you give us an idea of who's been a source of inspiration and mentorship for you personally, as you really have worked to achieve all that you have achieved?
Well, I would like to name two people. The first is my father. I call him Baba. My dad is going to be 87 years old in 3 months. He has a PhD in physics, and he grew in poverty. But he taught me many, many, many things, along with helping me choose a STEM career. But the one thing that strikes me most is, education is so important. Like being educated, learning how to do things is no substitute for hard work. And if my father didn't have this PhD in physics and become a college professor, I would have a very different life. So I think that's something that I've definitely learned, to be gritty and to value education and value the power of hard work from my dad. The person who is a celebrity but definitely has an influence on me is Indra Nui. She's ex-chairman of PepsiCo and Company. She obviously doesn't know me, but I am a huge fangirl. She's a fellow immigrant like me from India, also a woman of color. And she rose to become the chairman and CEO of PepsiCo, iconic American company. She is so extraordinary in so many ways, Teri. I can't list them all, but I would say that she has mostly inspired me to be a very kind person, but also a tough leader. Many times women are known to be not tough leaders. I think I can play both roles because I feel, inspired to be that way. I have the courage of conviction. I do my homework. I come prepared, and I feel like I cannot say that every judgment call I've made is right, but I have definitely put thought into that. I like to be a good listener, but and put myself in the shoes of other people before making a decision. But mostly I've learned from Indra Nui is to be authentic, to be myself, and I'm not afraid to show my real self.
Well, Anu, thank you so much for that. I agree with you. I think it's really important to look inside at folks that are close to us, but also to expand our reach in looking at folks that are perhaps in different industries and different roles, but who at the same time have overcome any number of obstacles to really be successful. Well, again, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And thanks for all you're doing for the state of Indiana.
Thank you so much, Teri. It's been a pleasure.